Oh, hello. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're gonna think about what happens now because Kill Team has run out of road map. Okay, so this was the road map originally published, and we've had now all 4 of these boxes released, or in the case of Morok, it's now been announced. So we're expecting, I would say, soon, because we know the Horus Heresy box is coming out in June as well. So they've got to get it out this month or next month, and they've got to get the Horus Heresy box out there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Saturday today. You might even see the pre-orders for the Kill Team box go up on Sunday. It might be that quick. It might be genuinely that quick. Although probably not, because influencers have been talking about it. Have been talking about and speculating, and they get their stuff 2 weeks ahead usually. So they, if you look at the big channels like Glass Half Dead, when he goes quiet, you know that you're a week ahead. You're a week out of getting the the pre-order, and then you've got the pre-order week. So maybe it's not that close. Maybe it comes out the back end of June. It shares a month with the Horus Heresy. That's possible. But either way, Morok is soon, and we need to kind of think of what happened next. So, everybody loves this table. I filled in this table with the new stuff that we know. So there's the Phobos Strike team, there's our Space Marine Bespoke Kill team. And we've got the Bloodied there as our new Chaos team. So Chaos have had 2 Bespoke Kill teams. We will talk about that more in a moment. And, yeah, we've still got a lot of gaps. And I don't want to upset anybody, but we might be done with White Dwarf lists. Okay, so we've got the Hunter Clade, the Warp Coven, the Wormblade, the Void Dancer Troop. Yeah, so Hunter Clade, Warp Coven, Wormblade, Void Dancer Troop. Okay, 4 White Dwarf lists. 4 box sets. Yes, I know they've already come out, but if we had 6, I'd say there was definitely going to be another 2. Okay. If we'd had 3, I'd say there was definitely going to be another 1. The fact that we've had 4 makes me think that we've had a lot for this year, for this roadmap. And I know a tiny little bit I've gleaned about. White Dwarf is the product that Games Workshop produced with the biggest lead time. And it's quite possible that all of these White Dwarf kill teams were written all at the same time, right at the start of Kill Team. They had them written. They will have had all the boxes, all the ones for this first year of boxes written. They will have had this whole first edition of Kill Team ready to go. And I know they've come out at weird times. I think that's White Dwarf scheduling, COVID issues with other products. Other products for other game systems get pushed back. So then their content can't be put in the White Dwarf. So then they pull an article from later down the line that's written, that's not related to a plastic release, that goes in an earlier White Dwarf. I genuinely fear that we've had a lot now. I mean, obviously, still excited for the new box that's coming, but once that's here, I think we've had a lot. We've had our entire roadmap, including the White Dwarf releases. So we've still got these gaps. Let's do what we've done before then. And quickly, because you've seen most of these slides before, and I've changed some of them around, look at what could be coming for those other teams. And then we're going to talk a little bit more going forwards. So, Grey Knights. Grey Knights have a multi-part plastic kit, Power Armor Grey Knights. It's a nice kit, so I could see them working as a White Dwarf list. I could see them working as an upgrade team. I don't think they need to be a brand new team to work in Kill Team. I think that they could work either as a White Dwarf list where they pull in a character or something, or they could work just as a team in their own right with an upgrade sprue. I think that they're not that far away from being a viable team in the Grey Knights box. Custodes are difficult, so you've seen this idea before. Last time I did one of these videos, the idea that they could do plastic Venerati. That looks really unlikely now, right? Because they've had their codex. And we know, and I'm going to talk about this some more later on, that we know that all the releases, if you think about it, have been tied pretty closely, with kind of one exception. They've been tied pretty closely to codexes. So Octarius came out, and yeah, we had the Krieg, and it looks now that Guard aren't getting a book for a long, long time. And it's very interesting to me why we got the Krieg. I feel like Games Workshop have been struggling to work out what direction they want to take Imperial Guard. You know, they'd obviously concepted up and done a Kriegsguard. If you remember, the Cadian shock troops got a sprue that looks very, very like a Kill Team upgrade sprue. And it just weirdly came out by itself ages ago, and they were like, yeah, we're inserting this into the Cadian shock troop boxes going forwards. Like, I feel like the design studio is sort of really trying to work on Guard, really trying to work out the direction that they're going with Guard, but we know in 40k that the Guard aren't due out for a little while because they're getting these get you by, Guard and Demons are getting these get you by stratagems in the new chapter approved, and that's not even due out till the sort of back half of the year, so we kind of know Guard aren't coming anytime soon. So yeah, we got the Krieg. I just feel like they were something the design team had on the shelf, right? We got the Commandos that were clearly just held back from the Orc Codex release. We then got the next box, which was the Pathfinders, obviously, and Tau were just coming out then and there. The Novitiates, which very much felt like, I think, they were sculpted along with the Sisters, and then they were kept, they're either held back from the book for Kill Team, or they were held out of the book for page count. You know, they came in ready to go for the Sisters of Battle. It wasn't out that far previous, okay, but it's still pretty tied. And then the most damning example of this is these two new boxes. So we had the Chaos Space Marines and the Eldar Corsairs. Obviously, we know that the Eldar Codex came out right around the same time as the box. We know the Chaos Codex is coming, and they wanted to redo the Chaos Space Marines with the Legionaries, with the new special characters in. And now we've got another box coming out with more Chaos, because Chaos are getting a big release, loads of new kits, and we're getting some Space Marines. Now, the Phobos we're getting in the Space Marine kit, again, those are rules. If you look at one of the last 40k expansion books where they talk, there's one with a rules in for a Phobos army, and they talk about a Vox Breaker, and they talk about like a demolition mine. Like, again, this is clearly work that's been happening for 40k, and there's the much rumoured 40k Space Marine Codex 2. I think, again, this is just what the design studio is working on. Sorry, I'm rambling on a slide about Custodes. I'm not talking about Custodes, but my point with all of this is, because I don't expect them to develop anything for Custodes in plastic, because they're not looking at them again with 40k, because they didn't get them when their Codex came out, I don't think they're going to get any plastic unit. And I don't think they work as a White Dwarf list. Because I don't really think that Custodes fit the setting particularly well. Now, they could do a White Dwarf list that was all Sisters of Silence based, but those models are very monopose. There's not a lot of options on them, there's not a lot of bits of war gear, there's nothing on there that could be given. It's not like the Hunter Clades. They were given rules for little bits and pieces on the kit, because the kit had little bits of stuff that looked like they could do something. So they had the Dictat with his little radio-y stuff that looked like it could do something. I don't think you're going to get that. I'll move on. I don't think Custodes, I think that if they wanted to support Custodes, it would have to be the new kit. I don't think you'll get a new kit until the far future when they're getting a new Codex. Demons. Demons are an interesting place because Demons could be a really good White Dwarf team, where it was an expensive White Dwarf team, where it asked you to buy a lot of boxes and use 2 or 3 Demons from each box. Or they could re-release the Galapox Infected, or do another brand new bespoke demonic unit in a plastic box, similar to the Galapox Infected. What I can't see them doing particularly for Demons is the upgrade kit path, where it's like, here's a box of Plague Bearers and here's an upgrade kit for them. I don't think they're going to do a mono god upgrade sprue system like that. I just can't see it. Death Guard. So Death Guard are multi-part plastic Space Marines. They work really good as a White Dwarf team. You could also do an upgrade sprue team for Death Guard, but I think they work really good as a White Dwarf team. You could even pull in some characters. So that's my pick there for them. Dark Eldar. Nice plastic kits. I think it's likely to be a White Dwarf team. It could be an upgrade team, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be a White Dwarf team, because I think mixing Witches and Cabalites is really key. and therefore it's likely to be a White Dwarf team because White Dwarf teams are likely to mix those kits. But I think the kit is suitably good and suitably modern and suitably varied that they can make a good White Dwarf team for the Dark Eldar. Necrons, again, I've said this before, I think that they would benefit from being a White Dwarf team, and you could put in the various characters, the Plasmancer and the Chronomancer, things like that. I don't want to repeat my previous videos. I think that's likely for Necrons. And Kroot need a new kit. So, like Custodes, I think Kroot really desperately need a new kit because the Kroot Carnivores kit is old and horrible. A lot of their stuff that they have in the compendium, they're the only thing in the compendium that has fine cast. You know, the Krootox and the Kroot Hounds. Zimbad really thinks they're going to abandon Kroot, and I think since they didn't do a new kit to go with, like, I really thought you'd get a plastic Kroot kit for Kill Team that would come out around the time of the Tau Codex. Zimbad feels quite strongly that Games Workshop have just kind of hate Kroot and have forgotten that they exist, and they've just put the rules in the compendium because they had rules in Kill Team 2018 and they don't want to piss people off. I see his logic. But I think it's a shame. It would be nice to see new plastic Kroot, but now, where we are right now, I don't see it's going to happen. Tyranids. Again, I think they need a new plastic team. Plastic Lictor, but it didn't come in the book. It didn't come in the book. They've had their codex, they got nothing. I can't see it being a White Dwarf list. Zimbad thinks they could be an upgrade sprue team for warriors with extra bits on. I can't see it. I could be wrong. He could be right. It happens. It happens. But the point is, we kind of got these three teams, Custodes, Kroot, and Tyranids. I feel like they really need something new, okay? And then we've got Chaos Demons, Death Guard, Dark Eldar, Grey Knights, and Necrons that I think could go really well as a White Dwarf team. And then we've got Death Guard and Grey Knights, which are the only two teams, really. You could add Tyranids if you agree with Zimbad to make three teams. They're the 2 or 3 teams that I think they could do by throwing in an upgrade sprue. Okay, so they're running out of teams. I think for the current model, they could do Death Guard, they could do Grey Knights, they could maybe do Tyranids. Those are your upgrade sprue teams. So if I'm going to make a gloomy prediction in a minute, I'm going to get flack for it in the comments. But if they want to carry on the current model, right? So if we were to do another year where we got a box, the first box was 2 new teams, and then 3 boxes with the 3 upgrade sprue teams. Then I'm calling it now, the 3 upgrade sprue teams would have to be Death Guard, Grey Knights, and Tyranids. Because they're the only ones. Or maybe Dark Eldar. Maybe Dark Eldar, Grey Knight. Death Guard, Grey Knights, and Dark Eldar. You could do, perhaps. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to abandon Custodes, Kroot, and Tyranids. I think we might see White Dwarf support continue. I'm really hopeful we'll see White Dwarf support continue. But I think we're going to see product support phase down. Here's why. Warcry. I was really certain they were going to announce Warcry 2. And they didn't, but maybe they did. They have a very busy time coming up at the moment with the Horus Heresy box game and with the new Kill Team box, all coming out before the end of June. They don't want to pollute their marketing too much with another thing to get people hyped about, but I think that they soft announced the new version of Warcry. You know, I've pulled this from the article here. This here. We can't say too much more today, but we confirm it's a new setting with incredible new terrain, brand new warbands, some of which may surprise you. It's going to be a new big box, and I think it's going to be Warcry 2nd edition. It's got a new logo. They only give things a new logo when it's a new edition of the game. I think they've told us tacitly they're doing a new edition by showing us the new logo, and they've showed us one of the 2 teams that's going to be in the big launch box for the new edition, right? But they kept saying over and over on the stream, oh, Warcry, it's not just about Chaos guys, it can be for everybody. I think it's going to be a big box with that new team in, and then something else, probably a line to order, possibly tied in with the revamp of Cities of Sigmar they're doing. And it's going to be Warcry 2.0. And then Warcry is going to get the kind of release year that we've just had for Kill Team. Warcry is going to get a box every quarter, right? That's what I think will happen. And then we have to take a back seat. We as Kill Team players have to take a back seat for a year. Because Games Workshop can't just keep producing info. Like, look how many releases Warcry have had this year. While we've been getting all our stuff for Kill Team, Warcry have got what? A book? Did the Red Harvest box come out this year? So 1 box and a book, right? So maybe we're going to get a box and a book, and they're going to get 4 boxes. And maybe we have to kind of suck it up and be like, well, it's not our launch year, so we're not going to get launch year levels of support. I definitely think we're going to get a book. I definitely think the book's going to come pretty soon. We're going to get an annual collecting the White Dwarf lists with possibly some new content in. So annuals are really hard. It could be we're going to get like the 4 White Dwarf teams we have, and then an extra team, an extra 2 teams in a book, and we'll go off and buy the book, right? I think that's what we're likely to get. I hope that we're going to continue to get sporadic support in White Dwarf. I hope that the Death Guard, Necrons, Grey Knights, and Dark Eldar that could be White Dwarf teams continue to find themselves coming out to us in White Dwarf. And then I think we'll probably get 1 box, right? A new box. And I think the new box that we get next year will only get 1, but the box will be a big, big deal. So the box will be, Octarius level. So it will be all new terrain, all new teams. This will be where you might see something like Squats coming out, or Primaris Deathwatch, or you'll be something brand new plastic on both sides, and a brand new, equivalent to the Warcry Red Harvest box, right? So I really feel like next year's roadmap is going to be a book and a big box, which means that the meta will be a lot more settled. Hopefully they keep up the White Dwarf content so that we keep having new stuff to change things up, because a competitive game, it's good to get change in every so often, but I definitely feel like we're going to pause it a little bit. I know I'm going to get hate for that. I actually really want Warcry 2. I've been sitting here going, I love Kill Team. I think Kill Team is a fantastic game. It's the only game I really play, but I'd love to do something with fantasy models. I'd love to do something with Age of Sigmar. If they can make Warcry as balanced and fun, like, don't make it the same game as Kill Team. If they can make it balanced and fun so that you don't look at the scenario and look at the teams and go, oh, he's won, right? Then this might become a Kill Team and a Warcry channel. Who knows? Like, I think there's room for both in my life. Okay, I don't know about yours, if they do it right, if it is 2.0, and if the rules are good. Because right now, the rules for Warcry are kind of bobbins. You generate your scenario, look at your scenario, look at the team that has the best movement, and go, well, they've probably won. But, So, the sad news is, I don't think we're going to get as much stuff for Kill Team next year, the next cycle. I know it's not the new year, but from the Kill Team year, which seems to start in July, right? I don't think we're going to get as much stuff in that Games Workshop release year, okay? So we're going to talk about the Bloodied as well. I want to talk about the Bloodied because they are kind of the elephant in the room here. I like them, right? This is not me having to go at the Bloodied. This is not me saying, oh god, why? Whoa, whoa. Really nice models, really excited to see them. Mrs. Tabletop Impulse has nicked them. She said that she's going to have them as one of her teams, so I'm probably not going to get my own set as well. But, they're cool. I'm sure they'll bring something good to the game. Obviously, I want to see the rules to see how diverse they are from the Krieg, but having the Ogre in there is cool, it's exciting. But it kind of shows the lie to the idea that Games Workshop cares about filling in that table that I showed. Games Workshop doesn't really care about bringing out the diversity of teams that Kill Team needs. I'm pretty sure that Kill Team is playing second fiddle to what's coming up for 40k. Now, this is in contrast to Warcry. Warcry genuinely has a lot of stuff. If you think of all the bespoke releases that came out for Warcry, they're all really unique and Warcry, and then they get sort of shoved into the battle tomes as an afterthought. But it feels like all of the stuff we get for Kill Team, it's always so tied to those 40k Codex releases. It feels like we're just, I don't want to say scraps, right? Because they're good. It's good stuff and I love it and I'm enjoying it. But we're not getting it on our own schedule. We're fitting in as the younger brother to the main game, right? Which is determining what releases we get in what order. And so we're going to get things pretty much at random. So we know, like, it wouldn't surprise me, shall we say, if the big box that we get, the one box that we get for Kill Team, right, next year ends up being Khorne Berserkers versus Squats. I'm just putting it out there, because we know that maybe we're getting Space Marines version 2, but after Knights and after the things they've got going at the moment, we're going to get probably squats or leagues of Votan, and we're going to get the Khorne Berserker Codex. And so maybe the one kill team box they drop next year is those two. Maybe not. Who knows? But the point is, I think we are servants or slaves to Darkness Note, to the 40k release schedule. And I think people need to look a lot closer at the 40k release schedule when they're trying to predict. And that involves the rumoured, like, we got Space Marines, and there's a rumoured upcoming Space Marine Codex 2, right? So people need to think, they need to pay attention to the 40k rumours, pay attention to what people are saying is coming soon for 40k, and I think that is going to be the biggest key to unlocking where we're going with Kill Team, which is a little unfortunate, right? Because if you play Plague Marines, you know, unlikely to get a cool plastic bespoke team. If you play, you know, Demons, you might do, because it's coming up eventually. If you play Custodes, you're not, I don't think, going to get a cool plastic bespoke team. Okay. Like, this has been a pretty bleak video. I'm not a bleak person. Again, Morok is going to be a good box, and Morok is going to be a good box, and I think that I'm actually quite excited for Warcry 2.0 if that turns. If I'm right about that, and they've kind of soft announced it without wanting to announce it, but they've shown us the new logo and one of the two teams from the box. It's going to be cool. Okay, there were rumours floating around about the Squats kill team and the Harlequins kill team, but it's possible they're crossed wires. We got new Harlequins in White Dwarf, and we got the new Squats for Necromunda, which, by the way, those are my Squats, right? That Squat gang for Necromunda that came out in the skirmish, that's what I want Squats to be. Leagues of whatever, hover bike people, clean shiny spacesuits, fine, but grubby little squat fellas with mining helmets on, that's cool. I want those. I don't play Necromunda, but those are cool guys. What do you think? Give me your thoughts in the comments section, please, and try and like and subscribe and all those things. Subscriptions really help. I'm gonna actually watch this space. This might be the end of the video. If it is, cheerio. I might come back with one more slide. It's just occurred to me to go and do something. So perhaps the end of the video. If I can't work out how to go back and add something onto the end. But perhaps there's one more thing. So just wait and see. Or not. I don't know yet. Hang on. Oh, hello. I'm still here with a bonus scene about page counts. I don't really think this is a thing, but I started to think towards the end of that video about how many pages are in the Tome of Champions, which is the annual for Warcry. And it's like 160, but then like last year it was only like 118, so probably this doesn't mean very much, but I spent a lot of time kind of counting the number of pages in White Dwarf for the kill teams, how many pages they use for each set of rules, and it's always like, if you just take the rules and ignore the fluff, it's 15 pages for each one, except for the Harlequins, they only have like 12. But then I feel like if they reprinted them in a compendium, they'd want to include maybe not all the fluff from the White Dwarf, but certainly like the name generator tables and stuff like that. I don't really have a point. This scene is pointless, but I felt like I didn't really end the video, so I'm ending it now. But I guess the thing is, they can't put. We got 4. I don't think you get more than 6 teams in a book. So I think you're going to see a book with those 4 White Dwarf teams, plus maybe 2 new teams, or maybe there's another team or 2 to go in White Dwarf. I don't really know anything. I just had a wild hair about counting pages, and then I went and did it, and now I'm recording more video. Like and subscribe. Cheerio.